Hello, Rajat. Welcome back to our nice little podcast. Great to see you again.
Great to see you also, my friend. How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful. And I see you brought a new wallpaper. Of course, you're not bringing a new wallpaper, but you brought a new picture for us. What is that?
Yeah, the wallpaper is still the same. My wife doesn't allow me to change wallpaper every episode. I have to admit, but yeah, I did change the picture, and this one actually is from an artist who's from the Starnberg area. So, last time we were talking about vacationing in Greece, and I think also for those of you who want to come down to beautiful Bavaria and enjoy the lakes here in Bavaria, it's a really, I would say, great place to be, right? I mean, you have
It is.
Königssee, you have, Starnberger, of course, which is over here. You have the castles, not to forget some of my friends who are from the Tegernsee area. They will absolutely kill me if I don't at least mention that. But lots of lakes and lots of places to vacation here in Bavaria. So
Absolutely.
as we come close to our vacation time, please consider coming to Bavaria for vacationing.
Good hint, good hint. Okay, Rajat, last time we talked about clear thinking in the age of AI, and that was quite
I've got a
interesting.
question. Do you think that was a good segue from going from vacationing to last time?
Absolutely. I think it is. So with the clear
No, all
thinking
good.
in the
I'm
age
just
of
I'm just
AI.
pulling your leg today, Christian. We're all
Yeah.
good.
So last time we talked about clear thinking in the age of AI, and that sparked quite some feedback and quite some discussion. That was really interesting. So obviously, for a lot of people, that is an even more burning topic than I thought even previously. And
Yeah,
some of the key
yeah,
messages we had there was that still people need to keep thinking, keep their brain active. And also we talked about things that, well, we cannot just say, well, the tool recommended it. That is not a proof. We still need like the human brain and everything. So that was quite interesting. So today we're actually, well, we want to talk about music, different topic.
I
So
know. I
what,
love
what,
it.
what I, what I liked when you and I had a discussion a couple of days ago, and you mentioned the Dire Straits song "Money for Nothing," and this basically, and we discussed a little bit, and we had the idea. Okay, well, it sounds. I mean, this was from the '80s, so that's some years ago.
Yeah,
But actually, the lines and the topics and the background of that is somehow similar to today in the age of AI. So if
yeah.
you want to rephrase it
You
to
mean money
"Money
for
for
nothing and
Nothing."
AI for free or something like that?
Exactly. So we say money for nothing, AI for free, or agents for free, and that
Yeah,
is a nice starting point, I think, because at the moment we have a couple of trends, and I see two main trends in this direction. So one is all those doom messages about people saying, okay, people are not needed anymore because AI can do everything, and AI is doing autonomous work for absolutely everything. And
yeah.
then on the other side, there are, especially on LinkedIn and some other platforms, there are some, well, people who call themselves experts and they're saying, well, I mean, I made some agents and they do all the money for me. I don't need to do anything. So that sounds a bit strange. So are we really living in an age where we can say money for nothing and agents for free?
I
Or
mean, I mean, going in that direction. For those of you, who kind of come back with that statement, how does the age-old saying going? The snake oil salespeople, or was it the I have got a Brooklyn Bridge for sale for you, or something like that? I think, yeah, I think it's really an interesting topic, Christian, because think about it, right? Anybody who comes to you and says, we have now AI agents that do all the work and they're going to make all the money for you. You just sit back and relax and do absolutely nothing. I mean, I'm sure some of you, the commenters that who will be feeding back over here will come back and say, yeah, but I'm already doing it. Yeah. But think about what it took to get there, right? So it was not like you just sat back and suddenly an AI popped up and so forth, right? So I think this is a really good topic, especially in the day and age that we are living.
yeah, no, absolutely. And you mentioned that a lot of people are saying, well, I'm not doing any work or anything. But maybe we need to talk about some boring stuff now, because a lot of the successes that I have seen where companies are using AI and while making money at the end of the day, they are successful with the implementation. I would say that there is quite a lot of unseen, unglamorous work. So if you, I mean, we talked in some earlier episodes also about some foundation, like for example, with the data. Like if you have rubbish in, rubbish out, so AI cannot clean your data. You need to do the data cleaning, maybe with the help from AI, maybe with the help of brains, to clean up the processes and everything, and have the foundations right. And this is what is quite interesting when seeing all those posts about people just laying on the beach and saying my AI agents are doing the work. So to be honest, I don't believe them, because those who are really successful, they're
I'm
doing the
full with you,
hard work
Christian.
before.
I don't believe that either. But I just for the fun of it, right? You can go to one of your let's call it AI programs that you're using, whether it's ChatGPT or Perplexity or whatever it is, and just try giving it something like, I would like the AI to do all the work, yeah, and I don't want to. I just want to earn the money. What the AI is doing the work. Please suggest to me different businesses that I can get into. And I would say, go out, try that that prompt out, and I would say, enjoy the ride. But just take it for what the answers you get back in terms of what is all possible and what can be done and so forth. But I think just for the fun of it, as we seem to start getting good interactive audience on this channel here, I think it's a fun exercise to do.
Yeah. And that is also a nice link to the song and to the lines that Mark Knopfler was writing with the Money for Nothing song, because the original background is that basically there was a kind of installer and somebody doing technical stuff on refrigerators and so on, and he saw MTV and all the rock stars and everything, and then said, okay, well, they have money for nothing and your chicks are for free. And this is where Mark Knopfler basically said, okay, well, wait a second. What you don't see on MTV is all the background work and all the years of hard work. And in the 80s, there was then the saying and the claim that became quite popular, I want my MTV. And so today I see a lot of CEOs saying, I want my AI, doing the same thing. But like with the rock stars, in order, if you wanna have like the glamorous life, you need to do a lot of unglamorous hard work over years. And this is what people in those days didn't see. And I think it's pretty similar to when we talk about AI today, right?
I fully agree with you, Christian. I mean, if you just want to think about, for the AI that you would eventually set up and you would like to perform for you, you need to be very clear to that AI what is it that you're trying to do with it, right? What is it that you're trying to ask it to perform for you, right? And it's a completely different mind shift. It's a completely different world that we're moving into. Nonetheless, it's an exciting one, right? Because the cool part is we're all discovering it, at the same time. And what's also interesting is, depending on how you set up your AI, either you're starting from zero or you're doing knowledge transfer from version 1 AI to, let's say, version 2 AI or something like that, where you don't have this lag, but at the same time, you need to be able to make sure that, you remember the last episode we did, maintain the clear thinking, because otherwise, consequently, what will be happening, exactly as you pointed out, Christian, is, garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, Rajat, you just mentioned like a couple of steps that you need to take in order, like AI 1, AI 2, and so on. And I remember, I think it was last week or so, you mentioned in one of the comments to some people on LinkedIn that on one of the projects, it took you like 7 iterations with AI, like to get the success you want and the result you want. So I think this is a great example. I don't know if you want to share a bit on this one, because 7 iterations isn't that bad.
I think the idea behind this is very simple, right? It's not the success that I want, because we were discussing about, are we being more patient with the AIs as an example, right? Simply because, the discussion is around, in this scenario here, for those of you who kind of missed out on that, is around margin versus markups, right? How do you calculate margin and how do you calculate markups? So I was giving some numbers to the AI and say, okay, give me, what's the margin in this scenario, and it was giving me a completely different number around markups, right? So it's something, because you kind of know it and you can see that the AI is doing it wrong. But the interesting part was, even when you tell the AI, well, that's wrong, guess what? It comes back with the same. It comes back with the same the third time and the fourth time, right? Now, it is annoying, it is frustrating, and then finally, somehow it just works. Yeah, magically, let's put it like that. It stops hallucinating, or it's figuring it out. Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. It was like that all along, right? And then you're sitting there going, now what, right? So, kind of coming back to the point, I think AIs are developing. They're developing really fast in an exciting way. We are all learning what their capabilities are, what they can do. I mean, they're definitely faster than humans in order to be at least able to respond. The knowledge is already all there, but you have to kind of make sure from an enterprise perspective where this knowledge sources are so that you can properly train the AIs, right? So all of this goes into the building blocks. And then, you can have, let's call it kind of a functioning AI, right? It's just like your employees. When you do a new hire, you need to go through them, you need to go through the training process, you need to go through the HR process, you need to develop the boundary conditions for the new employee. And the same way you got to do it for the AI. You got to be able to tell the AI guy, saying, okay, AI, this is the limits, these are the boundary conditions, right? And this is what you can and cannot do. So I think once those kind of things start to come into play, effectively, you can have a good, effective AI doing the stuff for you. I mean, you're doing the same thing. I think the new product that you're bringing to market is what Reportiful, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's exactly it's in the same way. You have to do the work in order to get it to the point where then the outcome starts to be fruitful. But how was your experience with Reportiful, bringing it to market? And maybe you tell the people what it is doing quickly.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I was laughing when I saw your comment on the 7 iterations, because on like the marketing reporting, I would say, well, we probably had like 700 iterations until the results were as expected or as wanted. No, this was exactly a similar. This was how the idea came to life on Reportiful, because like a couple of months ago, I looked into, when working with companies on marketing, and I'm very keen on like having good measurement. I mean, you can have all kind of tracking today, but I would say we are now drowning in data, but still we are starving in terms of insights. And I thought, oh, well, I mean, let's just throw in the numbers and marketing numbers into AI tools, and then we get the reports, we get insights, we know how to get better.
Yeah.
But actually, when you really do this, and I tested this now with so many also agencies and marketing people, AI, what the outcome is like 80% rubbish. So you need to, if you just rely on the outcome from AI, it doesn't really help. And this is
Yeah.
why we had those, yeah, probably it was really 700 iterations, where we said, okay, let's build a platform that is doing the calculation, that understands all kind of marketing numbers,
Yeah.
that does the right calculation, that looks into the insights, also then crawling the internet, and AI machines didn't help that much. So we built, based on our experience and our knowledge of more than 20 years, we built an exclusive knowledge base. So first of all, the numbers are mapped basically with our knowledge base. And then there's a little bit AI like producing the final report.
Yeah.
But as you said, there's a lot of hard work and a lot of experience that we brought into the project, so that at
Yeah.
the end we have good results. So AI definitely helped there and is helping and is great. But if you
It's got
only,
a lot of potential.
yeah, it's
I
always hard.
mean, I experienced the same thing also, in the day-to-day tasks. Our journey, for example, started out, we were doing simple connectivity, right? So connecting different applications together. And then we were getting into more orchestration and automation of business processes, right? And soon then after that, customers started asking us about, well, I would like to modernize my, let's call it legacy application or something like that. And here we started to then inject, bits and pieces of AIs within the different business processes, right? Why? Because if you want to look into the marketing example, we wanted to be able to determine what's the next best action. We wanted to be able to determine persona-based marketing. We talked about this geese kind of effect, and I think the market is moving more and more away from that, right? So in order to be able to achieve all of that, you bring in your experience, but as you said, it's also quite a bit of work that goes into it. So this whole topic around, monetization of your AI in a very quick manner, I think maybe somebody will figure it out. Maybe somebody will come back and refute that to us and say, okay, I only gave one command and the rest was all developed automatically and so forth. But I think we're not there yet, right? Eventually, maybe we get there. I don't know. Let's see. But it's I think just to generalize it, I think it's it's a bit of a fallacy and still a dream.
Absolutely. And maybe just thinking about the audience, because there are probably a lot of people, and we see that in the discussions afterwards, are also they're using AI to a certain extent. Some really successfully, some are just frustrated. So maybe we can give some advice to the people who are just starting with this one, or are like exhausted already by their piloting. And I've seen the term that I like, a pilot purgatory. I mean, this is the state where a lot of companies are at the moment, because they're thinking, okay, I give one or two prompts and then I make money, or all my problems are solved. But basically what we just discussed in the examples, and what your company is doing, what my company is doing, we're doing a lot of really hard work and then adding the AI pieces where it fits. And this is successful at the end. So,
Yeah.
so maybe using AI can be something more like being the architect, and then you have the ground workers, and this is AI. So
Yeah.
do you have any recommendations how people could start, like where to start in order to get the bits and pieces right, so that then AI makes it successful at the end of the day?
Yeah. So I think one of the key words, if I'm allowed to say it, is called enshittification. Actually, uh,
haven't
I'm
haven't
not going
heard
to
that. I
spell it
like
out
it.
over here. I think for those of you who already know that wording, go look it up. But I think getting started in this direction, where you do want to be able to monetize your AI, right, to be able to say, okay, do the work for me. I think the best thing to do if you're an entrepreneur going out and starting out, the world is basically saying, okay, from my experience, my capabilities were this and this and this, right? Remember, again, it's not the AI that's going to replace the people. It's going to be the people using the AI that are going to replace the people, right? So you got to go back to your experiences. And then from there, you can use the standard, your chat GPTs or perplexities or Claude or whatever you're working on. You can go ahead and use that as an example to saying, okay, where are the white spaces, right? What's missing, right? What has already been discovered? What's missing? Because if you want to go out there and request for funding, right, whether it's grants or from investors or whatever it is, they will ask you always, why you, right? And you cannot just say, okay, it's because of me, myself, and I, all three of us came up with that brilliant idea. You need to be able to justify what is it that makes the stuff that you're working on a little bit different or better than what's out there in the market, right? Now, if you're the corporates, that's kind of where we deal with most of the time. We effectively want the people to be able to say, okay, what is it that they're trying to work on? What is it that they're trying to fix? What are the problems that they're trying to solve, right? Because whenever you're working on that, you constantly need to think about the ROI part of it. And I don't mean, well, our IT spend is this, or we have X number of people within the department over here, but you really need to be able to think about ROIs, right? And I think it was 2 or 3 episodes ago, we talked about the ROI part in terms of how to do this ROI. If you have not seen it, I think, Christian, maybe you put a link somewhere that people can go back and take a look at it. Now, the ROI part will be difficult, right? Especially where you have the soft stuff. So, as an example, you say, okay, it cuts out 3 hours of work from, my normal daily work, right? So now the question is, how do you quantify that 3 hours? Are you getting additional productive work in, or is it something that you're just simply following up, and actually still having all the fixed costs that you have, and then effectively you're just simply working on this savings of 3 hours that you achieved, and here's kind of where your CFO will then have a nice long discussion together with you, right? So coming back now to the point over here, you need to be able to say, okay, here's the ROI that we're looking at, and these are the costs now associated with it, right? We see currently, as an example, and this is for all the CFOs, the CEOs, the CXOs. One of the things that we see as a bit of troubling, and here's another, I would say, a kind of a hint that my CTO officer and we are working on as an example is in the area of, let's call it tokens, right? What is the cost of a token, right? How do you quantify what is the fair cost of a token, right? So it's becoming a bit muddled, and this is also concerning to a lot of the let's call it the company management, the company leaders, and so forth, right? Once you can kind of start working on that, then you can start categorizing, okay, what is really my ROI, and then coming up with like what solutions you want to go forward with, right? So what I'm kind of coming back with is, even in companies, when you want to be able to say, I want my stuff to work for me, my AI to work for me, you have to go through the process. You have to go through those steps. You need to be able to work together with, if you're working with consultants to support you to do this, you need to be able to sit down together with them, say, look, this is what I'm trying to achieve. What is the path forward, right? Another mistake that a lot of people make, and this is where we do a lot of support and consulting to the colleagues, is they say, okay, this is my business process, right? And I want to digitalize it, right? So a lot of times they just copy paste what the manual processes were into this new AI world, into this new digital world, right? So either you can design it from scratch, right, ready for the digital world, or you can actually basically take your manual process, digitalize it, and then go through an optimization process, right? So any way you want to look at it, work has to be done, right? It has to be looked into. It has to be done. You cannot just say, okay, my AI does it for me, and then off you go.
Yeah, and it's a good point you mentioned on ROI, and there are also costs associated, because a lot of people saying, okay, well, I mean but that's not for free because I need to pay for the platforms, I need to pay for the tokens and everything. Yeah, of course it's cost. I mean, there's nothing for free, and there are two things that you mentioned briefly that I maybe want to repeat or highlight on. Is what is also really crucial is like a goal setting and describing the problem. I mean, this is good old, I would say, business conduct, but a lot of people miss that. So when you just say, okay, ChatGPT make me money, well, that's not that is nothing for me. But when you define the problem first, no matter if there is AI or no AI, like for example, when we built the Reportiful platform, we said, okay, the problem is that most marketing agencies, they're spending 10 to 15 hours to create one report just for the formatting and everything, and they have very little insight. And then we defined the goal and said, we want to bring that down to maximum 1 hour. So 1 hour of an expert person, and then have actionable insights and recommendations. So we first clearly defined the goal, and then we thought, okay, how do we get there? What kind of people do we need? What kind of process? And then we added a bit of AI on it. And this is maybe what we can recommend to people, to first never forget like problem definition, goal setting, and then see how to get there. And then AI can be successful. So this might be.
And by the way, people should not forget that you will have a bit of a spike in the cost, right? But then you're managing it, and your costs will be lower, right? Your overall cost for delivery will be lower. Your overall cost of sales will be lower, right? But you will have that initial, spike, and especially in the cost, where you're doing the work to set up, the environment that you want to do it. And with regards to this topic around the costs and so forth, where a lot of the companies kind of are still, I would say, sitting on the edge to jump or not to jump into this direction, for those of you, I can tell you help is on the way. We are, for example, working on edge compute AIs, already working in that direction on the technologies. The beta products are there, they're working. And this is coming. I'm sure we're not the only ones who are doing it, but this is coming, right? So once this is there, I think this will provide a lot of relief or a lot of predictability, especially to the companies and so forth, right? So I think it's, as I said, it's an exciting world. There's a lot of technological developments that are currently happening in this area. The time to get into it is now, right? It's not like, okay, let's wait and see and maybe, and let's call it the laggards or something like that, because the growth that is happening in this area is not linear. It is exponential, right? In terms of the learning curves of the AI, or whether it's the deliverance from the AI, once it's trained and once it's working and so forth, literally it is exponential. So for the companies who are still waiting, either get in touch with Christian, get in touch with myself. Absolutely, it would be a pleasure for us to bring you up to speed in terms of what is happening. Right? It's not about the business, but at least over this podcast series that we are doing, a lot of it is to I would say make the market knowledgeable about what's happening out there, and happy to discuss, as needed.
And you made a very good point. Start now. Don't wait, because I would say the winners of 2028, they're basically doing the hard work today, which a lot of people are not seeing. Because
Absolutely.
if we can summarize, I mean, we started with the Dire Straits song, and probably we can summarize. There is
money for
no,
nothing and AI for free.
exactly. There is no money for nothing and AI for free, completely. And also we can say, well, there's no such thing as an overnight rock star. So who are the rock stars in the 80s? They did hard work before, most of them actually. And also like the rock stars on the business side, they did a lot of hard work before. And there's what we can just like give us maybe the take home message to our audience. Like think about that, define the problem, define the goals, do the hard work, and then you'll be one of the winners.
Yeah, and I think just to kind of augment to exactly what you're saying, people will be wondering, okay, I mean, but my industry is very manufacturing driven. It's kind of hands-on. We just work with lathes or whatever it is, and creating products or something like that. I mean, it's a very manual process. It maybe doesn't need AIs or something like that. In reality, you have your purchasing processes, you have your certain manufacturing steps and processes that need to be you need to be going through. You have your financial processes that whether it's reporting or whether you have different subsidiaries, who are doing the reporting regarding what is produced or what sales are happening or something like that, right? And then of course you have the customer interfaces, those processes and so forth, right? So AIs are effectively coming into every single element, right? We are in touch, for example, with one of our new upcoming partners, right? We're going to be meeting together with them tomorrow, jointly with customers or so, where we are able to actually now even start benchmarking between different, let's say, producers, right? To be able to say who's delivering the best quality, on-time project delivery, and effectively looking into, how do we make sure that the TCO calculation that's coming out of that is significantly better. It means, let's assume that you're building a house, right? You are able to see it now and judge the performance comparatively to project plan, comparatively to how it was done by the different companies on different locations or so. And the AI is able to already, I think, Frig like it to compare it, right? And then give recommendations or give ideas and thoughts behind it. Now, on the background, yes, it has to be set up. But once that is done, guess what? The winners of 2028 are working on that today, and they will be having solutions, and they will be successful, or let's call it more successful, if I may use that word, comparatively to the other one. So jump into it. And Christian and myself and our teams, we are there. We'll support. If you have questions, just reach out to us. And I wish everybody good luck and good success. And that's pretty much from my side.
Okay, great. Thank you, Raja. It was again a pleasure talking to you. And we can summarize, the glamorous rock stars of 2028 are doing the unglamorous hard work today. Okay, thank you, Rajat. Have a wonderful
Christian,
rest of the day.
A pleasure always. I think I'm going to remember that one. And wishing everybody a good summer vacation. And see you next time.